So, yesterday we started this first page. So really we're holding the second page, but I want to make a review of what we learned yesterday, so this way we'll know how to move forward. So, if you see on the page, there's Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Vav, Tezvav.
Vav?
Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Gimel, Vav, Tezvav, yeah? What is this? This is a copy, from Rabbi Yosef Karo, the Bet Yosef.
Wait, what is this a copy of?
Of the Shulchan Aruch.
This is the Shulchan Aruch?
Yeah.
Not the Shulchan Aruch Rav.
No, not Shulchan Aruch Rav. The basis of Shulchan Aruch.
Okay. Because it doesn't look like the Shulchan Aruch.
No, because it's cut out, so it's missing a lot of sides.
You cut and pasted.
I cut and pasted. So there's also
the notes of Kalim, and you cut out just Mechaber.
Exactly.
Right?
What simon is this?
Just a simon Reish Aleph.
Oh, okay.
So, and it has, of course, the Ramah also, right? So the first sif talks about how much water does a mikvah have to have, and the answer to that is mem sa, 40 sa, which is around 400 liter. Okay, that's the first sif. The second sif, Beis, tells us how there's a difference between a spring and a mikveh. A spring is from the ground,
Running water.
you dig and dig, and a spring comes out.
Mayan.
Mayon. And a mikveh is rainwater which fell into a bar, into a pit. That's the difference. So the din is, and basically tells us that there's a difference between them. But a mayon, even if it's flowing, the water of the spring is flowing. The mayon is zoichalin. It's called zoichalin. It's flowing. It's still okay. You could still be toivel in it. But a mikveh, which is make shamim, rainwater, it has to be ashbeirin, has to be in a pit. It can't be zeichlim, it can't be flowing. If you're going to have rainwater flowing, it's a problem. If you have a hole in your mikveh and the water's flowing out, it's not good.
NG.
Not good. NG. So that's the first din. So it's called the din of zeichlim.
But wait, I just want to ask, you're saying Mayan is when you dig in the ground and water comes out. So like the ocean, you go to Bright Beach, whatever.
Ocean's
Atlantic
also
Ocean.
right.
So that's good also. I mean, it's not included. It's not Mayan, right?
Right. So ocean is good. Ocean is good.
But why? But wait, isn't there rainwater in there, and it's moving?
But it's considered like a mayon. Since it's not from, it's mainly not from rainwater.
Mainly it's from what? It's from
Sheishas and Vibration.
It's an original to that place.
Yeah.
So what about like lakes and rivers and stuff? You go in the country and the forest.
So it depends. So the first issue, before we get into any issues, is we have to know the metzius. You have to know what's the story.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, facts, science.
So you need to know: is it a spring?
Yeah.
Or is it man-made? Is it rainwater?
Yeah.
Is there a majority of rainwater? There's a lot of issues, so it's not so simple to go to one of these things.
To go to a lake.
It's not so simple. I actually spoke to...
An ocean is the Yamagadal is
I actually
okay.
spoke...
Atlantic and Pacific, right?
Yeah. But it's... Yeah. There's other issues also. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
Chatzitza.
What?
Chatzitza because of the sand. There shouldn't be any chatzitzas. Shouldn't be any...
Yeah, okay.
You have to be careful with that. You also have to be at a place where they're not scared that people are going to see them. They're going to be toivel properly.
Yeah, okay.
Different issues. This question you just asked me, so I asked it last week. I was by one of the mumchim, one of the experts in mikvahs, Avrumi Katz. He has a sefer mikvah mayim. He builds a lot of mikvahs. So So ask him his question. Ask him your question.
Yeah.
So this is what he was saying. That's
What about if you could
the
go
lakes
to a lake
and
the
the
forest?
rivers. Yeah. First of all, he says you have to understand them to know what the Metzius is.
Right. In other words, if this pond, someone brought the water and made it, so that wouldn't be no good.
And he explained. He said that lakes are. I think it was the lakes are usually man-made.
I don't know.
I think that's what he told me, and he said that there has to. I think that's what he was saying, and also he said that according to the law, they have to have some. The water has to be flowing out of somewhere. It can't just be staying in one place. It can't be stuck over there. It has to be. He's a professional in this, and he said he doesn't. There are some people, if you could find some in Rabbanim, which will say that sometimes it's okay, but he says. It's definitely for his opinion is that you shouldn't use these things. Okay, so now we have Sif Vav. So Vav talks about that when you're toivel, you shouldn't be toivel inside a keli. You can't be toivel in the keli. And I actually skipped Gimel. Gimel is something called Sh'uvim. The water which comes into the pit. You cannot go put your cup out there and catch it from the rain, and then pour it from your cup into the mikveh. That's called sh'uvim. It has to be directly from the rain into the pit.
Or it could go on the roof and then go down from the roof in a pipe, maybe?
Right, because anything only if it's a keli. A roof is a thing which is built. A thing which is built and which is connected to the ground is not a problem. And also it could go through pipes as long as the pipes are not a keli. Which means there's no place for it to receive, to hold water.
They have to go through a pipe. The rain coming.
But that pipe does not have any place to keep the water, to hold water.
Right.
It flows directly in. There's no stop. No place, no like
Base kibble.
Base kibble.
Yeah, I mean, then it's a keli. That's no good.
Okay, then we have in Siftas Vav, it says that a person could, once you have 40 sa in a mikveh, 40, that's the minimum amount of a mikveh, the volume, so then you could pour in as much sh'uvim as you want. You can even pour 1,000 buckets and barrels.
First the 40.
If it's 40, everything else is good.
Not less, but more.
But if it's less, even one drop less than 40 sa,
no good.
So then it's a problem.
Now, if you have 40 kosher saw, then you could add sh'uvim, and it doesn't ruin it. It doesn't passel it.
Doesn't passel it.
But you gotta have minimum 40 saw.
Yes.
Not even a drop less.
Not a drop less. And once you have a drop less, so then you need 3 lugim of water to fall into it in order to invalidate it. 3 lugim.
They have somebody measure the mikveh? There's 40 sa?
Yeah, usually we try to do a lot more than that. We try to do double them.
More than
double, triple some people do. Yeah. At least double.
My wife works in the mikveh right here on Ocean Avenue. She doesn't check. They have people that come and check it. They have 40 sa.
Well, she's not gonna. We're gonna talk about it soon. Usually you don't see if it's 40 sa. It's a different. We're not table actually in the rainwater. We're table in tap water, which is connected to the rainwater. So she usually wouldn't see what's going on in the rainwater. Because of it, yeah. But she has to make sure that it's that it's connected. That's important. Yeah.
She works in the evening, once or twice a week.
Right. It's probably her job is more to help the ladies than to actually look over the mikveh itself.
Right.
Probably somebody else is for that. Right. It's the tefillah, more about being playful, which that's halacha in Nochus Niddah that it has to be a woman who's going to look and watch that to make sure that they're playful. It has to be because you have the hair, big hair coming out. You make sure everything's under, not even one hair out. So that is halacha, which
it's very important.
It is very important. It's not just a hiddur. It's something we said in Shulchan Aruch. So now if it's less than, we said it was less than 40, even one drop, so then we need 3 lugim in order to disqualify. 3 lugim of shuvim in order to disqualify it. And then we say if he has a mind to put 3 lugim in, so it doesn't make a difference from how many kalim it falls into, it's an issue. Then he said at the end of Tezvav, he said, in the Ramah, he introduced an issue of Yidei Adam. That even, let's say it didn't come in a keli. Let's say there was water next to the mikveh. And you took your hand and you spritzed it right into the mikveh. So that's also a problem. Even though it didn't go in a keli. You splashed it.
Because the hand is...
because it's not min hashamayim. It has to be min hashamayim. Not Yidei
Like,
Adam.
let's say you can have a mikveh, and next to the mikveh is a puddle.
And there's a,
Yeah, right.
It's okay.
There's a puddle.
Right, exactly.
And you with your hand or foot push that
Push.
water into the
It's no
mikveh. Because there was on the floor water.
So I specifically said splashed.
Yeah.
I specifically said splash.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you push it, it goes like this. If you push it, so if there's 3 so if you do hamshacha, there's 3 tfachim. It goes on the ground 3 tfachim before it falls into the mikveh, so then it's okay.
Wow.
It's only if you splash it directly into the mikveh. Okay?
Because hamshacha would be the same as the pipes that they have from the right?
So that's a good question. Does hamshacha work on pipes? So hamshacha work on pipes. So it depends which pipes, and it's going to be machlekes also the Ramah and the Chaver. Okay, let's see. Turn to page 2 on the second page. So this was just review, Chazara, what we learned yesterday. Okay, now we're holding page 2, Sif Chav Gimel. Okay. On the top. Chav Gimel. Ein Gimel Lugim Paislin. Now these 3 Lugim, which we said that if there's less than 40 Sa, it falls and 3 Lugim fell into the mikveh, so then it's Paisel, it invalidates the mikveh. It's only Paisel, only invalidates Elim Keiniyu Shel Mayim. They have to be 3 Lugim of only water. It has to be fully water. Umareya Maramayim has to look like water. Seltzer, water. And therefore, if the 3 lugim of water fell in, if into them fell wine, now these 3 lugim
become red.
they become red, purple. Shenafla mikveh. So then afterwards they fell into the mikveh. Leip salul. They don't disqualify the mikveh because we said it has to look like water. It has to look exactly like water. If it looks like wine, then it's not. Then it's not. It doesn't pass. Geen shleish lugim chasedim kolshu shenafla sechamat chala v'shlemur legimel lugim v'nafla mikveh chasa leip salul. So too, if you have 3 lugim which are missing even a drop, and milk fell into it, so the milk made it into 3 lugim, but it's not 3 lugim of water. It's 3 lugim of water plus milk. So now this milk doesn't change the color of the water, so it looks like water, but it's not really 3 full lugim of water. Therefore, it doesn't passel the mikveh, because it has to be 3 full lugim of water, and it has to look like water.
So it's a milchek mikveh.
A milchik mikveh, yeah.
Cannot eat meat.
Well, wait, I have a question. Now, we're
Maybe
saying...
it's about the bashishim.
Wait, we're saying that if you have a mikveh that's chassid, it could be chassid 1 glass, a kosher, right? It's a saw less, I don't know, a little bit, let's say with this cup, right? Then someone comes and puts in mayim shuvim. So you say it has to be 3 lugin of mayim shuvim to passel it up.
Yeah.
But if it's less than 3 lugim,
And it doesn't
okay.
passel.
So let's say you have a mikveh that's memsah chaser, let's say a little bit less than 3 lugim. So you take from the sink 3 lugim, you pour it in, and you're good to go.
No.
According to this, no?
No, it doesn't.
Why not?
It just doesn't passel. It doesn't. It's not mashlim the shear, but it doesn't
Oh, it's
passel.
not mashlim this year, but
Yeah.
it doesn't passel it.
Yeah.
So to fit, it didn't passel it unless it's 3 lugim. If it's less than 3 lugam, you still have a mikvah chaser. It still needs to fill that chisaron with mei shama.
Right.
Otherwise, you can't use it. It's
Exactly.
not kosher.
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay, Chavdalit.
Why the rabbis make the mikvahs so many difficult law? They make it easier.
A lot of things
This way,
actually.
to make it easier, a lot of women, not 100%, but they will keep it. They will go.
But these things, a lot of these
This
things are
is not
minatayra.
brought on the lady. This is on the constitution of the mikvah. This has nothing to do with the lady. The lady knows this is a mikvah. Got a mikvah. This is the thing of making the mikvah. This is you know what I'm saying. It's not a chumrah on the lady, and it
And
is.
the people that make
It's on making the mikvah. And they built in a lot of extra things. So it should be 100% kosher, you know what I mean? They can't take a risk that it shouldn't be kosher because chas v'shalom, it's considered, God forbid, kosher if a person is not
Oh,
taught.
that's a good point.
But that's already happened.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of these things are minatayra. A lot of the things.
Yeah, but the rabbi added. The Torah didn't say do this. It said do this. The rabbis added.
About a lot of things, like 40. I'm saying there's machlekes about a lot of things. Machlekes about a lot of things. It's minatayra and rabbanon. But a lot of these things, there's opinions which these are minatayra even. 40 saw. Zeichlim. The Ramah says that Zeichlim is a minatayra. If it's Zeichlim, the mikvah is leaking and it's moving, it's a problem minatayra. The Ramah says that shuvim is minatayra. These are most of these halachas are actually minatayra according to Lamaisa. Saying there's machlekes
But
in the Shainim.
I remember once Rabbi Ginsburg and Baruch told us once from the big Talmud Chacham, I don't know who, one of the big rabbis or something, he said, I didn't see a mikveh that should be puzzled, that should be
It's
not
a Brisker Rav's
kosher,
right.
and I didn't see an Eruv that should be kosher.
Yes, Brisker Rav.
Because the Brisker Rav said, because it's
Yeah.
so much, we built in extra insurance
Yes.
on the mikveh. It has
Yes.
more than it has with this, with
Because there's
things.
always an opinion
We
to
learned once,
rely
I
on.
think your brother was teaching us that time with pictures. I forgot.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, 'cause
And
you
from
always-
the Rabbi, the Rashad made a special
Right.
mikveh.
Right. So you never want to say that there was a problem with the problem with Chazal Shalom that the mikvah was possible. You never want to say that because so therefore you always say, oh, there's a certain rishon which you can rely on and you can say it was good.
They on purpose made it be extra good.
But the
It's
Eidim is a more
problem comes,
convenience.
It's covered with insurance from the other side. That's why-
Eidim is a more convenience thing. So
Well, okay. We're not going to get into that. That's a same convenience for some people.
right, okay,
It's very difficult. People have little children.
right. Okay, so we're holding Sif Chav Dalet.
Second picture.
Okay, so we just said that if you have a mikveh which doesn't have 40 sa in it, so then if 3 lugin of water fall into it, and this water was not from the rain, was in a keli, so then it's pasul. So Chavdalet says more things which are they considered part of the? Could we consider them water or not? So we can consider them part of the 3 lugim. Chavdalet make kvasim, make kvashim, make shlakis is if you have vegetables which you cooked or you soaked them. The temet shlehichmitz is like meat, like temet. How would you translate temet? You have in Hebrew, you have temet.
Temet?
It's a tree?
No, it's a type of drink. It's like a mead. Med. What do you call it? Mead. Or like beer,
that
like
is from like
beer or
honey
something.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah, it is.
Shlehichmitz, which didn't become like sour. No, it means like to become like wine becomes.
It didn't become alcoholic.
Yeah, they don't become
It didn't
alcoholic.
ferment.
Exactly,
It
it's
didn't
ferment.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Mechein meitzeva, so to dye, like coloring dye. Paisel ma mikveh gumulugim. These are all considered water, and therefore if the 3 lugim of these things fall into a mikveh which is less than 40 sa, it's possible.
Even though maybe it doesn't look so much like water, but it's still
Right.
because Seva has
Right. Right. Our kol shar hamashkim. However, all other juice liquids, umei or other fruit juices, umurias is like from fish juice. The tamen mishichmitz, and this like honey thing which became alcoholic. Ein paislim mikveh hachasagim lugim. It's not considered water, and therefore it cannot invalidate a mikveh even if 3 lugim of them fall into the mikveh.
But it changed the color of the water. The mikveh.
It didn't change the color of
It did not change.
So
It's not mine. The point is not mine.
It's not mine, but this meperot, it's a strawberry juice.
So here we're talking about it didn't
Changed
change change the color of the water of the mikveh. It changed the color of the 3 lugim, not of the whole mikveh.
Only the 3 lugim.
Yeah, but not of the whole mikveh.
Okay, you're right. It's very little. It's not.
Right. Also, it cannot add if you have 39 sa, like he's going to say, and you have 39 sa, and you're missing one, and one of these fell inside. They cannot fill in for the 40th sa. They're not water. That's it. They can't be used as water. But if it has 40 sa, now we're getting back to the 40 sa. What did we say before? If there's 40 sa over there, well, that's the minimum amount of a mikveh. Even if you pour in 1,000 cups of water, which are all shuvim, it's not a problem. It becomes like part of a mikveh. It's all kosher. But he says over here interesting thing. It says, let's say you have 40 sa, and it fell into, before you took out, you fell into it 1 sa, so now you have of these, which means now you have 41 sa. 40 sa of rainwater, and 1 sa now of one of these things. Let's say of meperes. And then you took out a sa from it. So now how much do you have left in the mikveh?
Which you took?
You took any sa. It's all mixed together.
You don't know what it is.
All mixed. So you took 1 sa out. How many sa do you have? 40 sa.
But you don't have 40 sa, make sure.
So we still say it's kosher.
Okay.
It becomes part of the mikveh. Because when it fell in, there was 40. So therefore,
it don't place to the mikveh.
It doesn't place to the mikveh. And then he says, even if you did this 19 times, which means you took out 19 sa.
You put sa, you took out. You put sa, you took out. So now you for sure don't have the 40 sa.
Right, now let's say you maybe only have 21 of rainwater and you have 19 of meperes.
Right.
So it's kosher. But more than that, before that, but more by meperes, more than that, it's not good.
Why 19 times is good and 20 times?
Well, then it's more than the reif. And the mikveh can't be a mikveh. The majority, we go after the majority. We say rubei kukule.
Right.
But once it changes that, then it looks like a mikveh of meperes.
Right.
If you make it meper, the woman will like to go to the mikveh there.
Why? They're not supposed to drink the mikveh.
They'd be thirsty, the mikshak, right?
You think they like going in apple juice?
It's disgusting. I had chlorine in it.
Avo mayim shuvim. But if we're talking about mayim shuvim, let's say we're not talking about meperes. You have 40 sa over here, and you pour with your cup shuvim, regular water, but it's in a cup, so it's the problem with shuvim. You pour it into the mikveh. Now you have 41, and you take out, and you do this. He says you could do it even forever. It's always kosher. If mayim shuvim fell into a mem sa of kshedim, which are rainwater, but not you took out from them sa cheres, a different sa, but not for the seichan sa mayim kshedim, and then you fell into it. Mayim kshedim fil asakin ad elam kosher. It's always kosher.
So what's the difference?
So why over here we're more makel?
Yeah.
Because it's water. Water. It's at the end of the day, it's water. Water could become actually part of the mikveh.
Water mixed together with water.
Yeah, it becomes
The mem self on the water from the
sapcha,
mikveh,
sort of a sapcha. It changes
mixed
over.
together with that.
It becomes part of it. It becomes the lashon is zriya, is that it becomes it's called zriya, that it's like implanted, and it becomes part of it. It changes over, that it itself becomes water, like the rainwater.
But Mefer is only 19 times. How do you, how the Shulchan Aruch came up with this idea, Dafta 19?
But
It's a
half
second,
of
right.
40 is 20.
It's less than a
Right.
row.
Half of 40 is 20.
You need 21 already.
So 21 is more than that.
But
I think
now
that's
this
what
is the
it was.
opinion of the
Yes.
Mechaber, and this is the halacha. This is the halacha. Now this is the big sif which everyone always discusses when you talk about ber agabi ber, and it says natal sa v'nasan sa. You take out a sa, you add a sa. This is the famous sif.
No, all your life you take one, add up one.
So according to the Mechaber, according to Shulchan Aruch, there's no problem. There's no problem if it mixes. You could have a today, like we said today. You're not actually table in the mikveh in the rainwater itself. You're table in the tap water which comes in,
Which is my shuvim.
which is mayim shuvim, and it's connected with a hole to where
It's called a shoko.
to Ashaka. It's connected to with Ashaka to the Mei Kshamim, to the rainwater, the pit which has the rainwater. Everyone has a different way of doing it. If you do it on the side, if you do it under, right? So according to the Mechaber, what he says, even if I want to say that the once I got 40 sa one time, even if I want to say that the rainwater is mixing with the shuvim
Adoilom could be.
forever, and could be there's no shuvim left, there's no make shamim left, because every day, let's say you change the water which you're table in, but it's not a problem. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not a problem, even if that's what it says, right? Not till sav and nothing, so it's not a problem. So, but the Shach, we shouldn't have it over here on the side, but the Shach says he brings from Rabbi Yerucham. And Rabbi Yerucham says that it has to, a mikveh always has to be the nasal saw and natal saw. Sorry, it brings from the Rambam and the Ravid. I'm sorry, let me not confuse this. It's two different things. The Rambam and the Ravid. He brings from the Rambam and the Ravid. The Ravid. He says that it's the opposite. It's from the Gemara. The Gemara says that you could do until Rubi, that you could do nasal saw and natal saw until the majority of the mikveh, which is 19 times, right? So the Mechaber says, what's it mean 19 times? It means meiperis. That's what it says. You have a limit of 19 times. But when it comes to shuvim, you can do it forever.
That's what it said.
But the Ravid says the opposite. The Ravid says that Arube is talking about making mayim shuvim. That you can only do 19 for mayim shuvim. You can only do this 19 times until mayim shuvim. You can't do it forever. If you lose all of your, if all the mikveh becomes mayim shuvim, it's a problem.
But wait, isn't all this from some Gemara? Or something?
Yes, it's a Gemara Yevamis, which says Adrube. It's not clear.
Oh.
If it's not clear, that's why
They
you
interpret it.
Right, so the Mechaber, the halacha is like the Mechaber that says that we interpret it talking about meiperis, and therefore mayim shuvim you can do forever, even if you're changing the water every single day and it's mixing, not a problem. But the Ravid, which he holds that it's talking about the rainwater also has a limit, only up to 19 times. 19 sa, but if it's the majority of the mikveh, you took away the majority of the rainwater, it's not good anymore. That's what the Shach says. And the Shach brings it, so it's obviously something we have to be mechmer like, right? But I'm saying.
But the Mechaber it's 2 out of 3, right? From the what is that? I forgot how it was. The Rambam, the Rif,
and the Rosh. Yeah.
The Rambam, the
Rif,
Rif,
the Rosh, yeah.
and the Rosh.
Yeah.
So which of those 3 says no?
I think that I don't remember right now. I don't want to say offhand. But the Rambam we just said now, right? That's he who goes with the Ravid.
He goes with the Rabbi.
He goes with the Ravid, but it's not clear his reasoning. And the Beisesa says a certain reasoning, which according to that reasoning, Bemis, it doesn't apply by if it's happening by itself, if the mixing is happening by itself. But I don't want to get into it. But
Okay.
could be the Rush. I'm saying, but the rule doesn't always. First of all, the rule doesn't always is not always.
Yeah.
And not always do we know what all the Rishonim say. Sometimes it's not clear. So therefore, you'll have to use many Rishonim.
So, but the Shach says to be chayshish to this also?
Yes, because from the Rashbat Tzemach, the Beis Yosef brings it. That from the Rashbat Tzemach, he brings a shita in the Beis Yosef. The Rashbat Tzemach, there's a tashbit. So he says that since it's machlekes, he says he doesn't want to be machriya between the harim, between the big mount, harim gedalim. He doesn't want to be machnes reish. He doesn't want to put his head in between them. So the payal supposed to be machmer. So
no, it's even by Maim Shuvim we do till 19.
Right, exactly. So now there is a certain some sefer which wants to say that maybe we're not so machmer like the Shach, we're not so machmer like the Ravid. There's a certain shitta, but the Payal Mamish, this is from a very big thing in the Yiddish Welt. Through the Datas, the Rabbanim were very into this Nasan Sav and Natal Sav, and that's right. So I'm not going to go into Arichus into this because I just want to get into the Bichlal, the basics. I don't want to just focus on this one halacha. I want to give a broader thing because my brother I think gave once a share about Ber Agavi Ber. So he did 3 shirim. Okay, so that's why I'm just trying to go more general.
He brought some pictures.
Yeah, the pictures is probably from the Sefer from Mikvah Mayim, the Rabbi Yirmiyah Katz. He has that Sefer, so there's pictures of it. So that's why I don't want to go into. I just want to touch each general basic ideas, go through a lot more ideas, cover more things. So that's the idea that Rebbe Rashab was saying that if the one bar is on top of another bar, he wants to say scientifically the water doesn't mix as much. That was the idea. So that was the concept. That's where Bar Agavi Bar comes into play. Saying he also never said it doesn't mix at all. He just says it doesn't mix as much because I wanted to say because the heat rises. Right. And so therefore the higher water is more hot than usually that's the way it is, right? It's warm water, the mikveh, and the lower water is cooler and it doesn't mix as much. I don't know how to explain it scientifically, and it's not so simple to explain it scientifically. But that's the idea of Ber Agavi Ber comes from this sif. So I just want to point out it comes from this sif. Okay. Let's go further. Chsiv Chav Hey. Meit Seva Yish Lahem Din Mayim. Meit Seva is dye, right? Color dye. It's considered like water, like we said before already. Lifsil as a mikvah chasu b'gimulugin to passel a mikvah which is missing, which is not 40 sa. If there's 3 lugim of these Meit Seva. Like you pointed out, even though it looks different than water, right? Because it's Meit Seva, it's still considered Gimel to pass the mikveh. However, if it's a complete mikveh 40 sa, even if it fell into it, Meit Seva, Vishino matter and changed the whole color of the whole mikveh. Lay nifsol, it's not puzzle. So too, if you washed your dishes, which in the dishes was like the leftovers from like fruit juice or something, but it's only very little. It's residue, very little. So and through that the whole mikveh changed colors. Or you soaked in it. Samanim is dyes, like eichlim, which but like dry one, like eichlim or food. When and the water's color changed, nifsal doesn't become possible even though the colors change. when is changing the color a problem? But if wine or mayhal, what's mayhal? He explains over here. In the beginning, when you're pressing, the first time when you're pressing the olives, so it comes out juice. The ishbam shaman has like oil in it, so that changed the color. V'shina marav mikmei haya, and changed its color. How much does it have to change its color? It has to change its color. Mikmei haya, just that it shouldn't be the way it was before. It doesn't have to change it. It should look totally different. It should look blue and pink. If it's already not the same color as it was before, so it's already a problem. So, in other words, the point is it has to be It has to be the guf hadavar has to change the water. It has to be the guf hadavar. It can't be
something else.
It's something like the residue of something, or the dye, which is not really something mamashalistic. It has to be a wine, which the guf hadavar is changing it. That itself is changing the color, or like this oil, because that's the fruit itself. It's not just a residue from the fruit, from the wine. It's not just a residue from the grape.
This is the drink.
It's a part of the grape, right? And the oil, the same thing. So then, if that changes the water, so then it's a problem of shini mara, but like we said, it doesn't have to change it entirely. Even if it just changed from the way it was, it's not clear water like it was. Even if it just changed the kamesha haya, nifsal, it's already possible.
What if it's just the color from something that's not from the guf hadavar? That doesn't matter.
If it actually changed it to the color of the guf hadavar, then
no. Something that comes out from the dye that comes out from the guf hadavar.
Oh, so that's like samanim l'chora. Like samanim. Yeah, but it's tricky. Obviously, don't try it at home. But we should know it's a shaila. So there's a story.
Nobody put wine in the mikveh.
Like Rabbi Yirmiyah Katz said a story. He said that there was a certain place that that the person thought he wants to make look like a beautiful spa. So he wants to make look like the water by the sea, the blue water. So he would put in a blue dye. Right?
That it was the mikveh.
So it's a question. It's a shaila. You have to see, is it considered guf hadavar? You have to see what he threw in. But the person didn't even know that it could be a shaila. He thought it's just cosmetics, it's nice. Never. And you looked on the bottom, the problem is more the bottom bar. The bottom bar was, because he kept putting it in, was a different color totally. It all went to the bottom. So
Ma'aser shaya.
Ma'aser shaya? Yeah.
Itaka made the mikveh gorgeous, but
yeah, so we have to know that there is an issue of shini mara, and have to know what you're putting in there. The shaila is what about chlorines and things? Chlorines don't usually, I don't know how much they change the color. Doesn't really change the color. Right?
You don't see it.
It changes the smell of the water, but
yeah. Right. The smell doesn't pass.
Right.
The smell doesn't pass. So Kate said, yeah, so what should you do? If the water actually changed, we're in Chatei. If the second page, if it actually changed the water, so what should you do now? Imu chaser, if the mikveh is less than 40, yamton le'ashiyeduk sham, so you got to wait until rain falls into it. The smalo fills up. The axon amadol amadamai, wait until the rain until it. Yeah.
Until then, it's not good.
It's not good. The imish by memsa, if there is memsa already beforehand, and then it changed the color. So then, if it's 40 sa, you're allowed to pour, remember, into the mikveh, because you already have 40 sa there, so you could allow to pour from your keli. You malda bakati, you can fill up and carry on your shoulder, and put into it until you put it back to the color of water.
So much money you have to put in order to take out the.
Yeah. Okay, so
you're definitely changing all the water from the mikveh in order to take out the.
Right.
When you want to take dirty stuff from the stuff, you have to put so much of the dirt to come out. So the 40 mams that was in the mikveh came out completely. But as you said before,
yeah.
It's good. It could be adrilo, so it's
right.
No problem.
Right, but l'chatchila we want to be maximum l'chatchila. Yeah. And that's why there's also, because of this thing, always want there should be rainwater, so that's why a lot of mikvahs, they make something called the eitzer. Eitzer means that they always have a backup 40 sa.
always going to be there.
And this way, first of all, it's helpful because whenever you want to change the water, so
You don't have to worry.
so you can just change the water because there's always another 40 sa you could always bring right in.
That's how they do the women mikveh. They change every night the water.
No, not the rainwater. They changed the regular
Regular water.
Regular.
Rainwater they don't touch, but I'm saying they have a reserve.
Yeah.
Always say this thing
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
It's like ball gabay ball plus reserve.
Right. Right. It's basically the way it is that they have. So it comes from the pipes. It goes into a reserve, as they call it,
Right.
a bar, and then there's a plug. So when you open the plug, so the water goes down. Hamshacha goes down. Goes over the cement, whatever, and then it eventually goes into the mikveh, right? So now you fill up the bar of make shamim, a different bar of make shamim, a different bar where you have a make sham, and then you fill up the bar hatfila where your table in, and you connect them.
Because it's
But you plug again the reserve, and now it's still filling up the water from the rain.
Water.
So you always have extra water.
So what happened if no rain that year, not too much rain?
That's a
no
problem.
reserve?
Then you have to shut off so first of all you don't change. Then you don't.
don't
try
change the
not
water
to change
too
the water
much.
so often.
Right. So then it might be better not to change it because you want to make sure the mikveh is open. If there's no other mikveh,
Right, it's a problem. Yeah.
so that's the thing. Yeah.
So the guy who walk in the mikveh and clean the mikveh also have to know the halachas.
Yes, because there's a story actually in Crown Heights by Mikvah Meir.
Yeah, he said the story about the last time.
Yeah. So there they had to wait for a while. Basically, the guy came and he saw that there's water in the bottom also. So he told them that he did a favor. He cleaned that out also, and because he saw it's dirty.
He suck it out.
He saw maybe some dirt over there.
See, it's less than 40 cents.
So what are they gonna do now?
Nothing, there's no mikveh. They have to wait to the rain.
They had to wait.
Fill it up.
They had to wait a few weeks.
Ladies
There was a men's mikvah.
Yeah.
Mikvah Meir.
But the truth is they could have bought ISIS and put there, but
That's
it's
also
questions.
a whole.
Question.
You know,
We'll get
actually.
to it, but
Actually, it's interesting you're bringing snow. Actually, I was thinking if I should put it in the net. I cut it out, I pasted it, and then I said I'm not going to do it. But I'll say it outside.
Right, in Milan,
Yeah.
the thousands of people come to Rosh Hashanah, but they want to go to the mikveh. So what they do, they build a pool, huge pool for men, right, with clothes, and they bring ices, put inside.
What is
and
that?
then fill up
What,
water.
ice?
Black
Black
ice.
of ice.
Blocks of ice. Why?
So that's good for the mikveh.
Oh, stories like this, because
What is it
Shelik.
for the mikveh?
That's like make showing.
So
All
Shelik.
ice make showing, but then the mikveh is too cold to use.
No, they put so much water inside.
No, the stories like this. That you're not allowed to be table. You shouldn't be table in the actual snow itself. But the helpful thing of Shelik is that it's not a problem of shuvim. Shelik is not a problem of shuvim. You have to be careful making sure that it doesn't melt on the way when you're putting it in, because then you can have gimel lugin shuvim and the lechatchila, right? You're not allowed to have gimel lugin over there.
It's called dry ice.
Okay, yes,
Oh,
right.
dry ice?
Yeah.
Real ice. It's not. It doesn't have to
The
be.
machine make it.
Right. It's dry ice. It's
chemical.
CO2. It's carbon monoxide. Whatever.
I know. In Hawaii they did it because they opened up their mikveh. It was they built it in the summertime,
Yeah.
and so until they're able to get the
Make showing.
make shamim, so they first brought from the mountains. They brought snow and ice.
Okay.
You have to make sure you have to have special trucks which freeze it and everything. You have to bring it up.
And also with the way you take
Evaporates,
the way you
dries,
take the
evaporates.
snow, there shouldn't be.
Alright, so now the chatchila is all
shuvim.
machlekes if you're allowed to be table in actual snow, which you probably won't want to, but it's best lechatchila. You should wait until it melts, and after it melts, you can heat it up. I'm saying so then it's not a problem.
That's what it because it doesn't rain in a while.
It's for the summertime. It didn't
They needed it.
Wow.
It takes a long time sometimes to fill up. It's not just sometimes you want more than
It's
40
not
so
New York,
also.
the rain non-stop. Every week it rain over here, so
Right.
no big deal.
Right, and you want more than 40 cells sometimes, you know.
So they did bought ice.
In the beginning, then they once they came
Once
for the rain season came.
They have the oitzo and that's it. Now they have the water.
Right.
How many people were using it already? Came in. Only people who go on vacation probably.
Right.
No, there are people who live in Hawaii.
Say there's Chabad there, right? There's Chabad, and then you have Jewish from all over the world coming to Hawaii for tourists.
No, but I think there's probably a community.
Community?
No.
I know a lot of people. A lot of my sister was there for a long while. I think.
For what?
Maybe people for
For
business
walking?
they're there.
Walking or
Not business. She was before she got married. Young.
for what? For walking or just a vacation?
I think there's the shliach there. I think there's.
Kaziansky.
I think there's something going. There's people who live there.
The restaurant there.
There's people. No, you make the mistake. There's people who live there.
I know these shluchim, they live there. And
Not the shluchim. They have community members. Some, a few.
like Jewish mamash, like 10, every minyan, every
Yeah,
Thursday,
people
every
want-
minyan, and this.
It's expensive, but people like to live. It's a place to live. There are a few people who live there. I believe.
Okay, Lamed Hey, let's cap it in. So I just want to finish at least this page today. Lamed Hey. Okay, so Hameniach Tavla Tachasatziner. Tavla, someone who puts a tavla means a board. Tachasatziner, under the pipe. Now this pipe is not a keli. And it's a pipe which is receiving from the rainwater. Okay, so you put a tavla, eitzel mikveh, next to the mikveh. Kadesh yiplu mimena hamayim lemikveh. The rainwater should fall onto the tavla, onto the board, and then go into the mikveh. Im yish badalet safis shru'uya lekabel hamayim peisela. So now it's explaining to us what is considered a keli, what is considered a vessel that makes it a pal shulvim.
4 walls.
Shulvim, so 4 walls. If it has four walls to it, so then it's a problem. It's a keli. Im lav ene peiselas. If it doesn't have 4 walls, then it's not peisel of the mikveh. Okay, it needs to have 4 walls. There is an opinion with the Rekeach, which is one of the Yisesiv, and which says 3 walls also. Zakval tzida, let's say, so if it's standing upwards and receiving the water, so it's definitely a keli.
Right.
Let's say you put it like this, on the side, and now, or I'm saying even if the water's going in like this, actually machlekes, the Bach says it has to be over here is a problem also. So we're machmel like the Bach also, but Pashas Mechaber is talking about the water is going in like this, but it's not standing in a way that the water could stay in it. So
That's Zakfot Tzida.
yeah, you stood it up on its side. Eini Piselis is not pesel the water. Kivan she'enei medis be'inyan shurur lekabel, since it's not standing in a way that it's able to receive. Even though the water is going through it, but it's not in a way that it could stand, could receive, it's not a problem, it's not a keli for sure. Now, this second half, in which we're also going to discuss in Amches, is another halacha, a new halacha. The new halacha is like this. So until now we talked about shuvim. Shuvim means that if it went into keli and then it fell into mikveh, it's a problem. Okay? Now there's another issue, which is called davar makabel tumah. Something which can receive tumah. There's certain materials today we don't really have tumah v'tara, but it's negiyah to a lot of halachas today still. Things, certain kalim are makabel tumah. For example, metal kalim. Metal. Even if metal is actually flat, it's also an issue.
A flat piece of metal.
A flat piece of metal, it can't receive anything in it.
But still, the water
It's something which is makabel tumah, which means if somebody would be tamei in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, he would touch it.
it became tummy.
That metal thing would be tamei. Okay, so it's the idea of something makabel tumah. Right, if the kli cheres, something which is from the kli cheres is earthenware. Earthenware is not makabel tumah if you touch the outside of a kli cheres. Earthenware, touch it, doesn't become tamei. A stone, if you touch a stone, it doesn't become tamei. Metal becomes tamei, even if it's not a keli.
Why?
This is a chayk. Tumah v'tar is a chayk.
It's like when you build up the mizbeach, you don't
It
build
must
up
be a pasuk. It's
with
probably
the
a
metal.
pasuk.
Right. Yeah, it is a pasuk.
Yeah, why I forgot.
The deal, it
Just
says,
said
the deal
the
that
other
it's a
day.
fetish pasuk. Yeah, by Midian over there.
Rabbi
By Kli
said-
Midian, yeah.
Oh,
You need a special nachash to cut it.
Shamir.
It's metal, yeah, shamir.
Yeah. But it's
Shamir is cutting stone,
Stone.
not
Stone.
metal.
but
Stone?
Yeah,
Stone.
only stone.
this is the chak, which with Tumah Tara we don't have we don't know the
Roger
reason.
doesn't want metal with iron. It doesn't go together.
It's not well. Yeah, you also have yeah.
The only time the metal is doing a tire is when you do a bris. You have a piece of metal to cut the orlo, and you make it. That's it.
So if the water comes to the mikveh through a metal board, since this metal board is makabel tumah,
The mime is tamei.
It's a problem with the water. Even if the metal is not tamei, I'm saying today, I don't know, everything's like tamei, but I'm saying even if you know it's not tamei, if it's the fact that it's able to receive tuma, if the water comes through it to the mikveh, so it's a problem.
Well, what about
PVC,
the pipes?
PVC pipe.
Aren't the pipes made of metal? The pipes are made.
No,
of
they
metal.
use PVC pipe. You know, it's like
No,
that.
but I mean, they just invented that. What did they do 100 years ago?
Yeah, so they did
had
use
metal
wood.
It's a wood. It's a wood. They
Oh.
took a wood,
Oh,
make
yeah?
it with wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Like
not even one into the other. It's supposed to be in such a way that one lap on top of the
Oh.
other.
I actually is
The
another.
water is
Oh, I didn't know that. You mean all the mikvahs they used to be till now? It was
They make shomim.
the make someone went with a wooden pipe
Yeah.
into.
Some was wooden, but there was also metal, which we're going to talk about in Memches. What do you do if it's metal?
Yeah.
And he's going to talk about in Memches about the metal pipe. Now, I just want to say another thing, which is what he's going to say now. There is an exception to this halacha. The exception of this rule is that if the rainwater could have gone to the mikveh without the help of this, let's say, metal object, so then it's not a problem. Okay? Just to make it a little more confusing.
Yeah.
If the rainwater could have gone to the mikveh,
Yeah.
Without the metal. So the metal is on the way. You know, the wood doesn't do nothing.
right, it just happens to be there.
Yes.
Which
Even though
means
you do it.
you
for
have a
you,
nail sticking out right over there.
Doesn't matter.
You can put in the top of the metal wood.
Oh,
The metal,
covering
No, the point is
put
Ah.
the wood and then
So
let
it's
the
also a
water
problem.
run.
It also could be a problem because it can't be the pipe. The thing is can't be standing. The mikveh can't be standing based on something or coming through something which is even standing on davar makabel tumah. For example, a person is also davar makabel tumah.
Right.
A person is a davar makabel tumah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so if the Mishnah actually, that's what he's talking about. Let's say a person is holding the pipe, PVC pipe, not makabel tumah the pipe, but the person is holding the pipe, and the water's coming to the mikveh with the person holding it.
No good.
It's not good because it's standing on some. It's standing on someone who's makabel tumah. Okay, but if it's able, the water is able to come to the mikveh without the thing which is makabel tumah, it would have came to the mikveh even without it. Then it's okay. That's what we're going to say now. We're holding the middle of Sif Lamed Hey. At the end of it, the last two lines of Sif Lamed Hey. So for example, that the water was able to come to the mikveh without this keli. Because we said it's coming to the keli, but it's not standing the way a keli receives. So it's not a problem as a keli, it's not a problem with shulvim. But it's coming through something which is makabel tumah. Because it's a metal keli. So, but if the water can't come to the mikveh without this metal thing, I feel zakval tzida, even if you put it on the keli on the side of it, a kafal peel, you did it upside down, the water's just going in the back of the keli. It's not going in the keli. It's still peisela. It's still a problem. And last sif, Memches.
Let's say a gutter on the end of the roof, right? What does it do? It just make that the water should not go straight here, just go to the gutter and go down. So you make the gutter to go to the mikveh. So it will be okay because he did not nothing. Without the gutter, also the water will go to the mikveh.
But it would fall on the side, it wouldn't make it there.
No, it will go. It will go. It just the gutter is making that the water should not fall on the wall of the house. It just
No,
goes
so
to one
side,
place
it
and
would
then
have
go.
fell on the wall. It wouldn't have went into the mikveh.
He will go.
Not all of the water,
Fine, but
so that's a problem. Because not all of the water would have went. Some of the water would have fell on the wall. The only way that all of the water is going to the mikveh is because of the gutter.
I think the gutter just make it to go faster.
Okay, so it depends what it is. If it's only making it faster, it would have went anyhow, so then you're right. Right.
That's what they actually use.
Right, but if the water would have went dripping somewhere else, so then it wouldn't be okay. Okay, Sif Memches. Now he's going to talk about it more clearly, a little more. Habal l'hamshich mayim l'mikveh. Somebody is coming to bring water to the mikveh. Tzarich, it needs to shalai. It should not be b'davar makabel tumah, something which could receive tumah. Kagay make shama, for example, rainwater. Shadreitzalam shichal l'makamach, which you want to bring it to a different place, lasses mikveh, to make in that different place a mikveh. Lo yeches b'yadei daf. You should not hold with your hand, because remember your hand and you is the davar makabel
You are
tumah.
Makabel Tumah.
So don't hold a board in your hand. The avida malav, and the water's gonna go over the board. Only what should you do? Put the wooden board on the ground. Yasser yadim misham, and take your hand away. But before the water goes over the board.
In other words, they should go by itself.
Go by itself. Your hand shouldn't be there at all. Now we're talking about the pipe of metal.
Okay.
Also, lahamshich by mayim lemikvah, it's also to bring water to mikvah with it. Why? Shemakabel tumah, because mateches.
It's metals.
It's metals makabel tumah. Ushia mayim neifim lahedya. Midavar makabel. Now, what do you do if you have metal pipes? So they used to use metal pipes. There was those using metal pipes. But what? There's an exception. Hamshacha. If you have hamshacha, if it doesn't come directly into the mikvah, so then it's okay.
You go first to the Ta'ala, and from the Ta'ala you go to the Mikvah.
Yeah.
That's why they do it.
Only if it directly goes from the davar makabel tumah seich mikvah into the mikvah. But if it's falling outside the mikvah, and then it's the water flowing on the ground afterwards, and then goes into the mikvah. Or another way of doing it, even if you want the pipe to go directly into the mikveh, is attached to the end of the metal pipe. This metal, he says, silin shel aver means lead, a lead pipe, which is metal. If you attach to it sinor katan shalei, it's a wooden little pipe, oishel cheres, or of earthenware, which is also not makabel tumah. Shamayim ekachim and a mikveh kasher. If the water flows from it into the mikveh, then it's kasher. Another way of out of the metal pipe, so this way is to do hamshacha, that it shouldn't directly go into the mikveh.
Right, it goes into the
When you say
channel.
not directly, it's like a waterfall, you have it from the top, and just pulling in.
If it's not directly,
That pull directly. I'm asking.
if it doesn't flow directly into the bar, the pipe doesn't go directly into the bar, but it first flows on the floor outside the mikveh, then it flows into the mikveh.
But what if you have the pipe on top and the pipe flow in just flows down? Like a waterfall.
It's directly. That's called directly. Yeah, the Gemara B'Sisa talks about that. It's the problem, because ear. Anything which is in the ear is like it's on the ground already. Once it reaches the ear of the mikveh, it's like it's already on the ground. It's not like there was a hefsek in between. So only if it goes on the ground outside of it. Another way of dealing with the metal pipe is if the metal pipe is connected to the ground. Then so then even if it directly goes into the mikveh, it's kosher. Because now this metal pipe is not makabel tumah, since it is attached to the ground, it's bottled to the karka.
That's how they used to build mikvahs many years ago.
Right.
Make sure that the pipe.
And there's a chumrah of the Neder Yehuda says that the metal should be made to attach to the ground. Also. Okay. Tomorrow we'll finish up the last page.